Hello, welcome, and we'll be dealing with calculus 1 for today in this video. And now let's talk about the rules of differentiation. All about calculus 1, it talks about differentiation. Now let's talk about the rules of differentiation. Now the first rule of differentiation says what? The differentiation of a constant. What is a constant in calculus? A constant is what? A number, just a number. In other words, a number without a letter, right? This is a constant 4. So how can you differentiate a constant? We say the differentiation of a constant is what? 0. Take note. And the differentiation of this constant 5 is what? 0. So any constant, the differentiation of that particular constant is always 0. Even if you have 100 is 0, 10 is 0. I hope it's clear. Be aware and take note. Good. That's the first rule. The second rule of calculus, which you must take note, talks about the differentiation of both variable and a coefficient. Both coefficient and a variable. Example, ax. The differentiation of this is what? Ax is what? A. You see it? The differentiation. In other words, 4x, the differentiation of 4x is what? 4. Right? The differentiation, the first derivative, right? The differentiation of what? Of 5x is what? 5. We just knock out the x. That's it. So anytime you are differentiating a coefficient and a variable together is what? 4. So anytime you see short differentiation like this, take notes at all time. Anytime you are differentiating a constant is 0. Anytime you are differentiating 4x is what? Or a coefficient and a variable is what? Just the coefficient, right? That's the first and second rule of differentiation. Now the differentiation of a power, right? A variable and a power, right? The third rule. If you have x squared, what is the differentiation of x squared? The differentiation of x squared, you are going to multiply this x with this power 2 with this x, right? So 2 times x is 2x, and what you subtract after multiplying the power with x, you subtract the power 2 minus 1, which will give you what? 2x. You see it? 2 minus 1 is what? Just 1, right? And any power that's any lesser than standing has the power of 1. We just leave it like that, right? Let's say again, the differentiation of x cube is what? When you are differentiation of x cube should be what? 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 minus 1. Do you see the procedure? So it's going to give you what? 3x raised to the power 2. 3 minus 1 is what? 2. So you multiply the power with x and subtract it by 1. Always by 1. Do you see? Good. If you want to differentiate x to the 4th power, it's going to give you what? Let's multiply 4 with x. 4 times x, which is give you 4x. So say 4 minus 1 is going to give you what? 3. If you have 4, you remove the 1, it's going to give you 3. So the differentiation of 4x is what? X raised to the power 4 is 4x cubed. You see it? Is it understandable? Is it clear? Good. This is what you should be aware, right? If you don't understand the rule, replay again the video, I recommend. Now we move to the 4th rule, which says what? The differentiation of what? A coefficient, variable, and a power. Right? Let's say 4 to the 3rd power is what? What is the differentiation? It's just similar to the 3rd rule. Rule 4 is just similar to the 3rd rule. What are we going to do? Now, since the 4th rule has a coefficient, now we are going to multiply the power with the coefficient, right? So we say 3 times 4 is what? 12. You will put there x, what? We subtract the power. So 3 minus 1 is going to give you 2. You see it? So if you have 5 to the 2nd power, what are we going to have? So we are going to say 2, right, multiplied by 5x. Do you see it? This 2 power multiplied by 5x, you say 2 minus 1. Always subtract the power by 1 again, right? You are going to have what? 2 times 5, which is 10x. 2 minus 1 is 1. It's the same as what? 10x. Is it clear? You see it? Let's do again another example. If you have 2 to the 4th power, how can you differentiate this? how can you take the first derivative, which is dy dx? What are we going to do? We are going to multiply this 4 by this what? 2. So say 4 multiplied by what? 2x. We say what? 4 minus 1. Always subtract it by 1, the power. This power that you multiplied, you are going to subtract it again with 1, right? So say 4 times 2, which is 8x to what? 4 minus 1, 3. Do you see? Is it understandable? So 4 times 2, which is what? 8x to the third power, right? Now let's do it again. Let's do another example. Let's differentiate 3x raised to the power and 3, right? Differentiate this one. Very simple. We are going to say multiply this 3 and this 3. So 3 times 3, which will give you 6x. Now you subtract it by 1. 3 minus 1. So say 6x, 3 minus 1 is going to be 2. So 6x squared, that is what? The differentiation of what? 3x squared, the first derivative. I hope it's clear and I hope it's understandable. Right? Good. And what are we going to do now? We move, right, to the next part, which is what? Now, after understanding this basic 4 rules of differentiation, if you don't understand them, I recommend replay again the video, right? After understanding them, we move now. And we move to what? The sum of difference. In other words, addition and subtraction of differentiation. That's what we call the sum of differentiation. But before we move there, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share, right? And again, if you are new here, consider subscribing now. If you are a returning viewer, please, and you have not yet subscribed, I beg you, subscribe now. I'm waiting. All returning viewers, subscribe now if you have not yet. Good, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate for subscribing. Now let's move to sum of differentiation. Now in the sum of differentiation, which we say addition or subtraction, right? That's the sum of differentiation. Here, we are going to apply the 4 rules which we have learned so far. Here, we are going to use them here in each term, right? And also take note, anytime each digit in the sum of differentiation, we are going to apply the rules there where necessary, right? Now let's start in solving example. Now we go. We write the question. We say what? Example 1. Differentiate with respect to x. Y is equals to 2x squared plus 3x plus 4. Good. Now let's write it. Y is equals to 2x squared plus 3x plus 4. What are we going to do? They say we should differentiate. And we write what? The differentiation symbol, which is what? dy upon dx. This is the first derivative, right? Now, the rule, we apply the rule. 2x squared. What did I say? Anytime you see a coefficient, a variable, and a power, how to differentiate it? You multiply the power and this. You see it? So here is 2, here is 2. So 2 times 2 is going to give you 4. X, then from there what? We subtract 2 minus 1. You see? Plus, here, what is the power here? Differentiation of a variable and a constant is what? 0. Sorry. It's just the constant, right? So 3, the differentiation of 3x is just what? 3. Plus, the differentiation of a constant is what? 0. You see the rules that I explained previously. The x equals to what? Here is going to give you what? 4x, right? Plus 3. You see? That's the answer. We move to example 2, right? You see? What we did for example 1 is similarly what we are going to do for example 2. But let's look at example 2. Differentiate with respect to x. Y is equals to x squared, right? Bracket 2x plus 3, bracket close, plus 4x. Now we write it. Y is equals to x squared, bracket 2x plus 3 plus 4x, right? What are we going to do? Anytime you see a bracket in differentiation, your first target here is to what? Remove the brackets. Right, until you're differentiating. Let us remove first the bracket before we differentiate. Y is equals to x squared times 2x is what? 2x to the third power. X squared times x is just what? X cubed. Plus x squared times 3, 3x squared plus 4x. Do you see? Is it understandable? Now what next? After we have removed the bracket, now we differentiate. The y upon the x is equals to, now we are going to differentiate here each term, right? See, we are going to differentiate this first, from there we come to this, from there we come to this. Now let's see how we're going to differentiate this. As I told you, this, you always multiply the power with this, right? 3 times 2 is going to give you what? 6x. Now you subtract 3 minus 1. You always subtract it by minus 1, right? Subtract it with 1. You get it? Plus, here again, we multiply this power with this 3. 2 times 3 is going to give you what? 6x, 2 minus 1. You see? Good. These are the rules. Plus, if you differentiate, what is here is 1. So, the differentiation of 4x, a number in the letter is just the number. Take note. The differentiation of a number in the letter and the letter is just what? The number. So, the differentiation of 4x is just what? 4. The rule. That's what we are applying. So, the first derivative is equals to what? 6x. 3 minus 1 is going to give you what? 2 plus 6x. 2 minus 1 is just x plus 4. You see it? I hope it's understandable. Anyway, I don't understand, let me know in the comment box. I'll respond to you. If necessary, I will give you my private line for better help, right? Good. Thank you very much. I hope you understand. Please, if you are new here, consider subscribing now. And if you're a returning viewer and you have not yet subscribed, please, I beg you, do it now. Subscribe. Thank you. Now we move to the next question. Now we move to example 3. Differentiate with respect to x. Y is equals to 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 6 upon x. Good. Now anytime you see this kind of question, what are we going to do? Let us first eliminate the fraction. Anytime you see bracket in calculus question, your first target is to eliminate the bracket. If you see a fraction, your first target is to eliminate the fraction. So y is equals to, how are we going to eliminate it? Is we are going to divide each numerator here with x. So we say x square, it's supposed to be cube. X cube upon x plus 4x square upon x minus x upon x, right? Minus 6 upon x. Is it understandable? Good. That's what we are going to do anytime you see this kind of question. Y is equals to what? X cube upon x is just what? X square plus 4x square upon x is just what? 4x minus x upon x is what? 1. Here we are just what? 6 upon x, right? So we go y is equals to x square plus 4x minus 1 upon, we remove this fraction, we are going to say 6 dot 1 upon x. That's how, because 6 times 1 is just what? 6 upon x. That's how to remove this kind of fraction, right? Because you cannot divide 6 upon x, no. So we have to remove that fraction. Y is equals to x squared plus 4x minus 1 minus 6 dots. We remove this fraction and we use what? The reciprocal of indices, right? With talk about the negative index x minus 1. You see it? What are we going to do? Y is equals to x squared plus 4x minus 1 minus 6 times x, it gives you 6x to the negative power 1. Right? What are we going to do now? Now there's no fraction, no what? No brackets, no root. What are we going to do now? We differentiate. The y upon the x is equals to what? These two, remember the rule, say you multiply it with this x. So 2 times x is 2x. We subtract the power. So 2 minus 1. We will always subtract by 1. Right? We use 1 to subtract. 2 minus 1 is just what? 1. So we leave it at 2x. Plus, here, anytime you see what? A number in a letter, if you want to differentiate, just take what? The number is 4. The differentiation of a constant is what? 0. So say minus 0. Here, what are we going to do to differentiate? We say minus, there's negative sign already, and we multiply this power, negative minus this 6. So say minus 1 multiplied by minus 6, right? X, so say what? Minus 1. We subtract it. The sign here is what? 1, right? The power here is 1. We are going to subtract this by 1 because that's the rule. 1, right? So dy upon dx is equals to 2x plus 4. Of course, plus 4 minus 0 is just 4. Minus 1 times minus 6 is just plus 6. Do you see? X minus 1 times minus 1 is just what? Minus 2. You see it? That's how we go about. Minus 1 times minus. So in minus 1 is minus 2. So the first derivative, dy upon dx equals to 2x plus 4 plus, we are just going to say 6 upon x squared by removing the negative sign. You know, this is how we did it. So 6x minus 2. We just say 6 dot x raised to the power 1 upon 2 indices, right? 6 dot x raised to the power 1 upon 2. So 6 times 1 is just 6 upon x raised to the power 2. Sorry, that's how to remove it. Do you see how to remove it? Let me explain. 6x raised to the power 2. How to remove the negative sign?